So 49ers training camp is officially underway, and we have a brand new Nick Bosa update to get to. So coming up on today's show, when will Nick Bosa get paid? How much might he get paid? And what is it going to mean for the San Francisco 49ers? All of that coming up, but first, if you like our content, you like the 49ers Report, and you're a fan of what we do, a couple of ways that you can support the show. Just hit that thumbs up icon, comment and share your thoughts, subscribe to the 49ers Report. We certainly appreciate your support, and we wouldn't be able to approach 100,000 subscribers if it wasn't for everybody out there. Appreciate the faithful for tuning into the program. All right, let's start off here with this Nick Bosa update from General Manager John Lynch. We did talk about this on Tuesday because 49ers players reported to the SAP Performance Center in Santa Clara. John Lynch, Kyle Shanahan addressing the media, and John Lynch with an update on the best edge rusher in the National Football League. He does not expect Bosa to be with the team to begin training camp. Bosa is entering the final year of his rookie contract after the Niners exercised his fifth-year option a year ago. That fifth-year option means that he's on the books for $17.8 million, but beyond 2023, no financial security until he gets that contract extension. Now, San Francisco will continue to work with Bosa's agent, and this, of course, makes a lot of sense, right? Because it doesn't make any semblance of sense for Bosa to be on the field, risk getting injured, and then you could throw out any hope of him becoming the highest paid defensive player in the sport. He wants that financial security, he wants that new deal, and once he gets that deal, he's going to be on the field with his teammates. And Bosa is a guy who loves perfecting his craft. He always comes into camp in tip-top shape. He's one of the freakiest athletes in the NFL. You're not going to see a Deebo Samuel situation from last year where Deebo was sluggish, a little bit overweight, looked out of shape. Bosa's going to come into camp in prime condition, ready to dominate once again because this dude loves perfecting his craft and just loves the game of football. So obviously, topic number one here on the show, when will Nick Bosa get paid? Because here we are at the end of July in 2023. Bosa hasn't gotten that contract extension yet, but we talked about this on the show plenty. The 49ers like to do business, and they like to hand out contract extensions to their homegrown talent later on in the summer, once training camp is pretty much underway. And there's a sample size here that we can follow, which does paint a picture as to when Bosa might get that extension. The George Kittle deal, which made him the highest paid tight end in the history of the National Football League at the time, happened on August 13th of 2020. And if you remember, his agent was trying to leverage the Niners earlier that spring, saying it was going to be a massacre and George Kittle was going to hold out. There was all that chatter. It was all about leverage. They finally got a deal done August 13th, though. So it did take a little while for them to put pen on paper. Fred Warner contract extension a year later happened a little bit earlier than this current point right now, July 21st, 2021. And then last year, Deebo Samuel got his contract extension on July 31st. So Bosa, over the next couple of weeks, he is going to ink this deal. He's going to become the highest paid player in the history of the NFL on the defensive side of the ball. It's not a matter of if he's going to get paid. It's just a matter of when he's going to get paid. And it could really happen any day now, or the situation could drag on for a bit like it did with George Kittle and, to a certain degree, Deebo Samuel. The Kittle extension at the time was a 5-year deal worth $75 million, $30 million guaranteed at signing, with $40 million totally guaranteed on that deal. It averaged out to $15 million per year on the average annual value. A year later, Fred Warner, he inked that 5-year contract, $95+ million. Guaranteed money at signing was $27 million, with $40.5 million guaranteed throughout the duration of the contract, $19 million per year. And then Deebo Samuel, monster contract, shorter term though, only a 3-year deal, $71.5 million, $41 million guaranteed, $58 in total guaranteed money, and it averaged out to just under $25 million per year. So with that, we transition to this. How much is Nick Bosa going to get paid by the San Francisco 49ers? And when you have this type of conversation, it really does start and end with the deal that Aaron Donald got from the Los Angeles Rams a couple of years ago, because that at the time made him the highest paid defensive player in the history of this game, and that still holds as the richest contract for any player on that side of the football. I think that Bosa is going to get more years, more total money, a higher average annual value, and total guaranteed money. And him and his agent certainly have the leverage here, because that was a couple of years ago and the salary cap wasn't as high. Aaron Donald was a little bit older, Nick Bosa a lot younger, and Bosa's coming off a Defensive Player of the Year campaign. So that was a 3-year, $95 million contract, average annual value at about $31.5 million. Bosa could realistically get between $32 and $35 million per year, because Donald was 31 when he signed. Bosa's going to turn 26 years old in October. Younger player, better player in his prime, who's coming off an absolutely dominant season. So with that, we tee up our poll question for today's show right here on the San Francisco 49ers Report by Chat Sports. I'm Chase Sr. Thanks to everybody for tuning in today. Will Nick Bosa get more money than Aaron Donald? M for more or L for less? More thoughts to get to here on the show, but first, training camp is here, preseason games just a couple of weeks away. We're talking actual football. San Francisco, get geared up. And of course, if you love the show, you can support the program as well by copping one of these San Francisco shirts. You see the link down below me. It's chatsports.com/SF. We'll put that link in the comments section and in the description of this video. Now, Bosa over the last 2 years has turned himself into one of the best defensive players in the game. And I think that he's the best pure pass rusher that the NFL has seen over the last couple of years. He's just a unique talent who can beat you with the bull rush. He can beat you with speed coming off that edge, an elite first step, but is also freaky strong. I also like the bend and leverage that he has, which allows him to beat some of these offensive linemen. In 2021, he comes off that torn ACL that he unfortunately suffered in the sophomore campaign in the Meadowlands, and he tallies 15.5 sacks, 32 quarterback hits, 21 tackles for loss, 4 forced fumbles, and 52 tackles. It's hard to duplicate that type of production. That's exactly what he did in 2022. 18.5 sacks, 48 quarterback hits, 19 tackles for loss, 2 forced fumbles, and 51 total tackles. The numbers there certainly tell a story. But Pro Football Focus literally watches every play, and that's how they come up with these Pro Football Focus grades. And these grades are up there with any player in the NFL, if not better. Overall grade of 90.9. That was the same for its pass rush grade. Run defense, everybody thinks of him as an elite edge rusher, but he's good against the run as well, 81.1. 508 pass rushing snaps, where he was able to tally 90 total pressures. Bosa is a player that the opposing offense has to game plan for every single week. And every time that Bosa, number 97, is lining up on that edge, offensive linemen have to account for where he is, because they understand that if he's able to get a jump, if he can beat that offensive tackle, if he's able to beat them one-on-one, then he can wreck your game plan. He can sack your quarterback. It can lead to a turnover. He can take over and change the complexion of a game just by himself. And that's why he gets double teamed so often, yet he's still able to produce at crazy levels. Now, if Nick Bosa signs this contract extension, I should say when he signs this contract extension, you already know. We're going to go live right here on the San Francisco 49ers Report. That's why you subscribe and turn on your notifications. Therefore, anytime we do go live, you will be notified. Let's open up the floor and answer some of your questions on our live show here. The Golden Buckeye with this. Do you think that Bosa can win back-to-back Defensive Player of the Year awards? Who's to say that Bosa can't? With how good he was last year, I think this 49ers defensive line in 2023 is actually better than it was last year, when he really didn't get a lot of help on that other side of the line of scrimmage at the other defensive end spot. Now, Drake Jackson and Cleveland Ferrell are going to have to step up to help him out a little bit, but Nick Bosa is already going to have a lot more assistance with the addition of Javon Hargrave. He's one of the best defensive tackles in the game, and him at nose tackle, defensive tackle, has this great ability to get after the quarterback. You know, back in the day, defensive tackles, nose tackles, they were guys who were like 330, 350 pounds, and they were just used to stop the run. Now, a lot of teams, like San Francisco, are prioritizing these defensive tackles who can get after the quarterback through the air because a lot of teams are airing it out more. Javon Hargrave had 11 sacks last year. I think he's a late bloomer who started to come on late with Pittsburgh, turned into a star with Philadelphia, and now he's entering that prime with San Francisco. That's going to allow either him to get one-on-one opportunities or Bosa to get one-on-one opportunities. I continue to say that Arik Armstead is criminally underrated. Everybody wants to focus on the lack of sacks, but he's a really dominant player. And if Drake Jackson, Cleveland Ferrell can get developed by Chris Kocurek, this defensive line can be scary once again and turn in a lot of sack digits. Mamba Legend 24, Nick Bosa, 2023 season prediction. 23.4 tackles, 60 tackles for loss, 37 forced fumbles. So, forced fumbles 5. Oh, okay, I read that wrong because of the cliffhanger there. So 23.5 sacks, 60 tackles, 37 tackles for loss, and 5 forced fumbles. So Michael Strahan currently holds the record for the most sacks in a single season. I think it's like 22.5. So that would be a new record. Mamba Legend, that's a bold prediction right there. I love it. Art, he will get the bag. I think he's going to get the bag too. And John Lynch even said earlier this offseason, we are budgeting and have been budgeting to pay Nick Bosa. And a player like this, when I construct a football team, you obviously have to get the quarterback position right. But you want to protect the quarterback, get a quarterback, and then get after the quarterback. Defensive end outside of quarterback, you can make the argument, the most important position on a football team. And that's the position that Nick Bosa plays. And keep in mind that even though he might get this contract between $32, $35 million, the salary cap is going to continue to increase. So this deal, if he continues to stay healthy and put forward this type of production, can actually end up being pretty much a steal a couple of years down the road. Make sure you subscribe to the show once again when that Bosa deal is official. We're going to talk about it. We're going to go live here on the show. We always try to inform, entertain, and be insightful for the audience out there. And hopefully you enjoyed today's segment. If you did, give me a real one down below.